I wanted to share with you why I'm focusing more on the personal, particularly in my practice, but also in the book. I think real change, especially when we're looking at organizational change, especially if we're looking at societal change, needs to start in ourselves. And then the next place it goes is in our interactions with others, the one-on-one interactions. But it's tough to interact in healthy ways, especially if someone's angering you. If you're tired, if you're hungry, if you're hangry, which is one of my favorite terms, if you're overwhelmed, overstressed. And a lot of the onus is put on us. And I don't know about you, but it strikes me that there's a lot making okay, I'm gonna speak for myself. Sometimes I feel like a failure because I'm not reacting very well to the crazy that's going on out there. And it strikes me that maybe being angry and depressed is a really, really good reaction and not unhealthy to what we're seeing in our organizations, what we're seeing in the world, and how we're interacting with each other. So I focused on personal because I think we're in an environment that's incredibly destabilizing, and it's made worse by our foundations being undermined. And so when I look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, at the bottom of it is physiology. The second level of that is safety and security. And when I was looking at the research, uh, and I'll eventually share all this research with you. Maybe this reminds me I'll have to put it in the back of this video or as a separate, I think I'll do it as a separate video. People are not sleeping well. One out of like a bunch of people are burned out and disengaged. And even of the highly engaged, 1 out of 5 people are burned out. We're not eating well. And even those of us who are trying to eat healthy, there's a lot of questions about what's going on with our food and water supply. Um, and then if you look at safety and security, the gig economy is growing. There's a lot more contractors. Layoffs are a lot more common as businesses try to right size or whatever it is that a lot of organizations are trying to do. Fundamentally, in a lot of places, people are treated like cogs in a machine and resources. It's a very, very old model, and it's very dehumanizing. And people sense that even if you try to, paint a pretty picture around, with pretty terms around, oh, we value our people. That's a whole nother kettle of fish. I mean, this is what we're working with. So the way I see it, it behooves us individually to get ourselves right and then make sure that when we interact with others, that we're doing so as best as we can on any given day from a place of respect. Um, and it's easier to do that if we're sleeping well, if we're well nourished, if we're not. Yeah, I mean, basically, if we're sleeping well and we're well nourished, and we're moving around. So, what I'd like to do is I'd like to perform an experiment, and I'd love your comments. And this is more of an observational exercise. Take a look this week at the days where you've slept well, things are going well, you're in a decent mood. And just observe how you're interacting with others. Especially when someone's giving you bad news or they're trying, being aggravating. Do the same thing on days where you haven't slept well, things aren't going your way. You're running around meeting to meeting to meeting, eating, junk food, maybe someone brought in a cake. You know, and how are you interacting with others? You know, where's your hair trigger? Just for the week. And I think if you experience that and just kind of do observation, um, you might be surprised by what you find. And I think it's a really good baseline too. But that's why I'm focused very much on personal change planning. Because I think too that if you're able to experience what successful change looks like on, you know, a very personal level, and particularly as you look at how that change impacts other people and how that impacts your interactions with other people, that applies to organizational change management. Because at the end of the day, an organization is a group of people, and each one of those people is an individual. They are not cogs in the machine. They're not toys that you know, mess with your system and hope it works well. So that's my invitation to you. I hope this helps. Please write your comments, your observations, um, and any feedback on this video in the comments area, either here or on the blog, or you know, wherever you happen to be encountering this video. Thank you so much for your help and support. I hope you found this valuable.